Hey, Dwight Clow, Inner Wealth. I just am, this is the third of 4 videos talking about a problem that I see within Christianity, and the problem is what I call try-hard religion. In the first video I talked about what try-hard religion is. In the second video I talked about where it comes from. And in this video I want to talk about the problems that it creates. And this is a teaching I'm preparing for my Inner Wealth subscribers at dwightclow.com, but I just wanted to also make it available to everybody else, just so that just because this is so important. This is something that the Lord has really laid on my heart, and I really want to share it with you. And so, what problems does try-hard religion create? Well, the problem is it leaves all of us in a bad place. We'll start out with the people who really thrive on try-hard religion, what I call the successful self-righteous. You know, they just set these spiritual goals and they achieve them. You know, they just go from one thing to the next, and every spiritual goal that they set, they achieve. And they try hard to be good, and they are good. I mean, a good example of the successful self-righteous is the rich young ruler. You know, Jesus said, if you kept the commandments, he starts naming them, and the rich young ruler says, oh yeah, you know, that was my goal, and I've achieved it. I've done this since I was a kid. You betcha I've done all of this. And then, you know, read the Bible to find out what Jesus' reply was. The successful self-righteous, the tragedy of that person is they have been robbed from the supernatural life that only God can provide by living an admirable life that they were able to accomplish on their own. They removed God from the picture. Yes, they were saved by grace, but then they were perfected by their own works, and they've lost out on this huge dimension that God provides. The second group is the striving hopeful. They just keep thinking, if only I try a little bit harder, I'll make it. I'll get there somehow. I'll become what I'm supposed to become. And usually what happens is after a period of time, they end up becoming in one of two places, either what I call the second-rate settlers. In other words, they just, at some point, they finally say, enough is enough. You know, the goal is way up here. I'm never going to achieve that. I'm like here, and this is as good as it's going to get. And although God keeps wanting to bring them forward and to take them to a new level and to take them to a new place, they've said, this is it. I have to settle here because this is as good as I can get. And then the other group that the striving hopeful often ends up in is the sinking ship of shame. I mean, I realize I'm alliterating, but you know, it's this idea of people who have these addictions or other challenges in their lives that they cannot overcome. And you know, I think this is the reason why in the church there are so many people who silently suffer from porn addictions, alcohol addictions, sex addictions, all of these things that they can't talk to anybody about. And why can't they talk to people about them? It's because to admit that you have one of these addictions is to admit that you're an inferior Christian. And not only are you an inferior Christian, but you're inferior, and it's your own fault that you're inferior because you didn't try hard enough. If you would have only tried hard enough, you would have overcome your porn addiction, or you would have overcome your sex addiction, you would have overcome your alcohol addiction. And that is not the case. That is not the truth. The truth is, all of us are broken. All of us have struggles. All of us have weaknesses. We all have our Achilles heels. All of us have areas where we need God to intervene. And, you know, like the massive porn addiction throughout the church, you know, what some estimates 61% of men in the church are addicted to porn. the massive addiction, it's a terrible thing, but the one good thing that comes out of it, in my opinion, is it creates a problem that try hard cannot solve. Because, you know, less than 2% probably, I don't know, I'm making up a number, but it's a very small number, very small percentage of people who try hard actually overcome their porn addiction or their alcohol addiction or whatever. The solution comes from a different place. And that's what I want to talk about in the next video. I'm sorry this video went a little longer than I had hoped, but anyway, I'll look forward to seeing you next time.